Hello and welcome to another unrewarding and gap-filling episode of Racing Game Reviews with me, Ed. Today we'll be looking at the video game iteration of those TV cops from Bay City. But does this game do Starsky and Hutch justice, or are they forced to eat their own funky cold dust? Well, to help me here is a friend of mine who's been helping me do videos on YouTube for a while now, and his name is Ish. So Ish, have you ever heard of Starsky and Hutch?
No, not really. But once in a nightclub I saw them in a red Gran Torino. Quite funny. Not very funny though, because 2 minutes later they ran over my grandmother. I took them to court and they made a game about them.
Okay, but was the game any good?
Well, considering that my grandma had to die for it, yeah.
So as you may have guessed, in this game, you must drive Starsky and Hutch's Gran Torino around several miles of Bay City to complete missions, objectives, get points, or just power slide recklessly into things and people, which is pretty fun. To stop you enjoying this, however, is the viewer ratings counter in the corner. Which is strange, because the person playing this is the only one who's watching what's going on. If you do a good power slide or ram into people, for example, the viewer ratings go up. But if you do nothing for a while, it goes down at about 1 viewer per second. Or if you run into people, it just goes way down, so don't do that. So Ish, do you think this takes some of the fun out of the game, or does it add a challenge?
Well, it does take a bit of the fun out, but it does give you more of a challenge and keeps you focused.
The animations when you run them over aren't that good anyway, you just go through people, which can be slightly annoying. A good thing about this game is there are a good variety of missions. Some may require you to run into a car and blow up to catch a suspect, which somehow doesn't kill them in the process, while others may require you to stealthily track an enemy to get to the factory or some rubbish like that. It is divided into 3 series, but the storyline in these series isn't that good, and the cutscenes aren't much better. They look a bit like a rubbish flash animation, to be honest. The voice acting throughout the missions can be very repetitive from both Starsky and Hutch's voice actors. The only person I will credit is Antonio Vargas, who does a decent job of keeping up the narrative. Scattered throughout these missions you'll find random events such as trucks going everywhere and power-ups, which in my opinion diluted a bit but can be helpful sometimes. These power-ups have various effects. Some will allow you to cause more damage to your vehicle, some will increase viewer rating, some will speed up your car or give it better grip. So Ish, what are your opinion on these power-ups?
They can be very helpful at times of the game, but getting them with the gun is very difficult because of the hit detection is very poor.
I have to agree with you there, man. Sometimes I find that it has its flip sides though. Say I'm way past the target and I shoot at it. I've clearly missed, but I hit it anyway, which makes no sense whatsoever. For the most part though, this doesn't really spoil the missions, and they still require some skill to complete. In addition to these missions, specials can be unlocked, such as a stunt or a racing special, and these require you to do objectives such as stunts or get to a certain checkpoint in the racing one under a limited amount of time. These are quite refreshing from the missions, which usually don't have much time objectives at all. The car control is quite bad though, which doesn't help. Usually, especially with the speed power-up and without the grippy power-up, the car does slide around a lot. So lining up for jumps, etc. can be a handful. I also find that the car has a tendency to flip upside down and flip back up, which I think is very, very silly and unrealistic. But then again, this is Starsky and Hutch. What do you think of the specials, Ish?
I think it requires more driving and shooting skills instead of the normal mission objectives where you just have to complete the mission by driving somewhere or just blowing stuff up.
Yes, and I think in that respect they are a lot more fun. To be honest though, these still require you to get badges, and to get these free-floating badges sometimes requires tedious trial and error, where you may sometimes lose it due to a silly mistake or just a chance, quite tiny shift in direction will cause you to lose it, and this can be very frustrating.
Yeah, just shut up and show them the steering wheel.
Alright, here you go. Juice to cut loose. Oh, who gives a damn? Right, let me just find somewhere I can... You can see how hard it is to... Yeah, the reactions are slightly slow, you see. And it's very sensitive, and I haven't used the wheel with this before. Oh, the Kylie's import factory is closed. And that's one of the missions there, the final mission in the game. It's not that great, to be honest. I know, it does feel slightly...
So basically what you're trying to say is that the steering wheel makes everything much more difficult.
Yeah, it's a lot more out of balance. It's much more easy to be guaranteed. That said, it does allow you to power slide more easily, but sometimes that's not ideal. Now, another important aspect of this game is the music. Now, while a lot of the sound effects are very repetitive and really get on your nerves a lot, the music, I think, does a fairly decent job. It's quite funky. Yeah, have a listen for yourself, actually.
Jesus, this is the tune that they played at my grandma's funeral.
Wow, even in the dark moments, you still had it going on, didn't you, Ish?
Don't insult my grandma, mate.
Oh.
Anyway, I was thinking of what I said earlier, actually, and this game's actually quite crap.
Really? I thought they did a decent job. How come?
It's just the car flipping over and the pedestrians running through the car. I can deal with that. But this massive loop-de-loop in the middle of a sports stadium is just... no.
I think that's a bit harsh there, actually, Ish. It doesn't spoil the game, it's just a fun little thing they've added in there. And yeah, it is unrealistic, but I think what you've got to remember is, this is Starsky and Hutch. It's supposed to be a little bit crap, isn't it?
I guess you're right there, but you know, they could have still made an effort on it.
Well, anyway, I guess fans of the show can probably see through the faults of this game. If you're a Starsky and Hutch fan, this is worth a pop, but otherwise, forget it. Tune in next time when we'll be playing... What was that racing game? I don't know, you'll have to find out next time.
You know bloody well that was F1 2010, you lying son of a...
Oh, and that's really typical, you know. Look, we've ran out of time.
Should I stop the video?
Yeah, probably.
Probably isn't good enough anymore. Never even paid me anyway. Where's my money?
Ish, why are you trying to fake my death?
I just want to be loved, and you know, my mother never hugs me anymore.
Well, actually, didn't she hug you this morning? And she hugs you almost every morning. Well, of course, not as much as me, but... Well, your ambitions to be loved, you pretty much screwed that over now. Just get out of my room, please. Yeah, that's right, out, foul peasant. I didn't even know I led on the show.